You're on the air.
Awesome.
Yeah, all right. Welcome everybody to today's Pen and Stylus episode. My name is Nathan Rackley, and today I am joined by Ben Girven and Jenn Myers. So here's Ben. Say hello, Ben.
Hey guys.
And then here's Jenn. Say hello, Jenn.
Hey, how's it going?
And so today we're going to actually be trying to keep the episodes a little bit shorter. I mean, last time we had a really great episode, but it was about an hour long. We're going to actually be working on trying to reduce these episodes so that they're a little bit more centralized, a little bit more focused, and shorter, so it's easier for the viewers to watch, especially those of you who are following in the archives. And then separately, we are going to be having after the 30-minute show, the Pen and Stylus show, we're going to have our sort of our random character challenge, where we're going to be doing some random character sketches. People are welcome to join us from home. They're welcome. You guys are welcome to draw, and then if you post your artwork either to the Pen and Stylus DeviantArt page, that's penandstylus.deviantart.com, or to Twitter, #Pen and Stylus. If you do create artwork during the challenge, it's very likely we will feature you during the next month's episode. We're trying to aim for regular episodes about once per month. Might be more frequent than that, depending upon the reaction from you guys and the feedback from you guys. But I mean, we're having a lot of fun doing this, and we hope that you guys are having a lot of fun joining along. Also, during the live broadcast, feel free to leave comments on the YouTube page. We are checking that regularly. Also, feel free to leave comments on Twitter, #Pen and Stylus, and we will be answering. We will be doing our best to answer questions during the stream. So I'm going to be just kind of discussing stuff. I'm mainly going to be checking the questions and stuff, and Ben is actually going to be hosting the main segment of today's show. So anyways, I'm just going to... Yeah, be afraid. So I'm going to pass it along to Ben. So here, everybody, this is Ben Girven.
Hey guys. Let's see. I'm still kind of getting myself all situated here, but yeah. So I'll put that up for a minute. So as Nathan said, this is our second episode. We're still kind of, still got that new car smell. So we're basically, I think today we're going to talk a little bit about kind of software. Last show we talked primarily kind of about like the intro, how we all kind of got into digital, or drawing digitally. And I think it was kind of maybe more hardware centric than it was anything else, because we were talking very specifically about the hardware we were using. Today I think we're going to talk a little bit more about software. Software being and actually specifically Sketchbook Pro today, and I think we're going to probably space this out over the next couple episodes and talk. Or maybe kind of like highlight, one or two software packages per episode. So like we said today, we're going to talk a little bit about Sketchbook Pro, just real basic overview of kind of, kind of what it can do, why we use it, why it's really good at doing what it does. So with that in mind, let's see, I guess we'll just jump right in here and I'll go ahead and pull it up. So move things around here. Like I said, I'm still kind of adjusting. Had to wipe my computer yesterday, so I'm kind of getting back up to speed here. So, alrighty. Yeah, I guess move things around a little bit.
So people are actually starting to comment on the YouTube. Hello guys, how's it going?
Hey guys.
Yeah. We've got viewers,
wow.
Yay!
Yay! Actually, how many viewers do we have?
Right now, considering this is our second episode, I mean we've got like six watchers right now.
Hey, that's awesome.
Considering we just sent out the announcement.
That's very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, so this is Sketchbook Pro. This is the main interface page right here. It's actually probably one of the most intuitive software packages I think I've ever used. I think it's really just really nicely designed and really simplistic, and still allows you to do quite a bit. I use it primarily for penciling. I think by far it is the best digital penciling tool that I've found. So primarily I use the pencil almost exclusively because that's pretty much all I ever use it for. So just real quick overview, you got your toolbar over on the left here. You have this nice little radial dial here, which you can do some pretty, just kind of gives you real quick access to some, basic tool sets, color sets, layer and select tools and stuff like that. And then just a few other things there. Up at the top here, you have your undo, your select tools, crop, text, and a lot of these other things. Ruler, ellipse. I generally don't use a lot of these, although these two, and I know this is probably kind of hard to see, but these very top two right here, there's a symmetry X and a symmetry Y. These are awesome. You can do some really cool stuff with that, and I'll hopefully get a chance to show that. Beyond that, you have your kind of freehand tool. You have a steady stroke, which is an odd tool. It's kind of neat, but it's a little odd. And you have your straight line, box, polygon, and circle. So these are all just, again, just kind of quick tools for making lines, basically.
So the steady stroke tool, is that kind of like a stabilized line tool for doing freehand?
It's weird. It's cool what it does. It's just it takes a lot of getting used to. But
does it follow behind the brush or something?
Yeah, you see how you use this little.
Kind of like it looks like one of those pinstriping brushes, the ones that have the really long bristles.
Yeah, it's kind of like it would be really nice if you're trying to get a really nice curve. You can kind of do that real long, elongated, but the brush palette, which what?
Funky.
Oh yeah, a little bit. You have your layer tools, your brush palette, which is your palettes over here, your color, and then version 6 of Sketchbook Pro introduced the Copic library, which is actually really kind of interesting. You actually have access to, I think, pretty much the whole Copic set. And you have some brushes that kind of correlate to different Copic markers over here as well. So it's kind of nice. I don't use it a whole lot. I still haven't found kind of found my way with that yet. But like I said, I mean, primarily what I use this for is penciling, above and beyond everything else. A lot of everything in this program can be done without using a keyboard or without anything else. Although it is kind of handy because the spacebar, becomes very useful as a moving tool, and as you can see, anytime you hold down the spacebar, you get this little window that pops up and allows you to zoom in and also move. And there's a few other things you can do contextually. If you've selected a portion as well, like rotate and do some skew and stuff like that. Not really skew, but stretch and stuff like that. So. That's kind of the quick overview of the tools. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to it. It's kind of deceiving. There's not a whole lot of things to it, but what is there is actually really powerful, and it really works well. And like I said, it's by far the best analog. That's not the right word. It's the best. It's the closest to drawing with a traditional pencil on a screen that I've ever found with any other software package. I've played with Photoshop a little bit, and that there are some some brushes out there that are pretty good, but they still don't quite come or touch how good Sketchbook Pro is. So just gonna start real quick here and just doodle something out. A lot of times I've kind of set up a couple different colors. I tend to do a lot of my light pencil work in blue. And I just select the pencil tool. There is actually some different line weights you can pick here. It's kind of nice because it actually equates it to like a pencil weight. So you have like 2B, HB, 2H, 4H. So I actually usually work in the hard range, but I'll just do it today so you can kind of get a feel for what we're doing here. So I'm going to show you the Sketchbook tool real quick because that one is really kind of cool.
Where was that again, Ben?
What's that?
Where was that again?
Oh, sorry. So you have your toolbar right here. It's the very top left button. It looks like two little slider bars. That brings up your brush properties, and that allows you to kind of change your brush width up and down. You can also do this with just like Photoshop. I can't remember what they're called. That's not what I want. Hold on. The keys that do that, ampersand. That's not right.
Right.
Whatever those are called. I'm having a brain fart today. Yeah, these two keys, and they're also the.
Okay. So we do have our first question. Irvi is asking, how hard is it to use a pen on a tablet, like a bamboo tablet? So I guess he's asking how hard it would be to use a digitizing tablet with Sketchbook Pro.
I would imagine it's about as opposed to like a Cintiq.
I guess. I mean,
okay. Just
in general, I'm guessing.
Well, in general, it's different. You're basically drawing on glass. It's a very. It's different in a lot of respects. In some respects, it's very much similar. You're still making the same lines. You're still making a lot of the same movements. You're just translating them, across this sheet of glass instead of a sheet of paper, and you get an undo button. So, what you lose, you gain with that ability to kind of back up and redo things. Mm-hmm. For me, penciling digitally is kind of a godsend because I don't have a lot of time, and this lets me kind of do some shortcuts and cheats and not have to erase everything. There's a lot of times where if I'll draw something, let's just say I draw a head or something like that, and I do the body, and I come back at it later on. I'm like, that head's too small or too big. I can do this and shrink it or rotate it, and so there's some neat tricks that you can do with the digital side of it that you can't necessarily do as easily, working traditionally.
I know that's something that I found personally with penciling digitally. It's one of the reasons I love to do digital pencil and stuff like that. Is exactly that. Being able to copy things, preserve things, resize or move things around on my pencils is totally worth the hassle of actually having to do it digitally.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And as far as just to wrap up Irvi's question, with the using tablets with this software, I mean, it's a learning curve always to learn how to use tablets, especially if you're not doing a screen tablet like a Cintiq or a Unova or one of those competitors to the Cintiq out there. But the advantages that you get from just working with a tablet in general are the fact that you can work digitally, you can resize things, you can preserve layers, you can, there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do when you're in a digital process. You don't need a tablet to do it. Tablets just give you the advantage of the pressure sensitivity, which you don't get with the mouse. And yeah, I mean, and I don't use the desktop version of Sketchbook Pro a whole lot. I use actually the mobile version all the time.
Yeah.
I have Sketchbook Pro on my mobile devices, and I use that for doing my digital sketching when I'm away from my workstation. I absolutely love it, and it's a very it's like the desktop version, but it's a really dumbed down and much more simplified interface. It only has a couple real basic tools, but the pencil tool is gorgeous in it.
Yeah, so, and I mean that's primarily all I use as a pencil tool. So I mean it would be, it would actually work really well for that.
Yeah.
Bacon, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Bacon is asking, how hard would it be to do cartoon-like work inside this program, like Sketchbook Pro?
You know, again, I mean, the way I kind of approach Sketchbook Pro is it's a part of the process. I don't use it to do the finished piece. I use it to just really kind of knock out the pencils, you know, and then I'll usually take it into another program and ink it. So in that regard, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can do anything. I mean, you can do all the sketch work. You can do a lot of, you know, your layouts and you know, just kind of, you know, break down ideas and stuff like that real quickly here. You know, and then be able to kind of, you know, take that and take it out to, you know, whatever program you would use, and finish it up in there. Although, you know, I say that, and there are people who do a lot of finished pieces in Sketchbook Pro. I mean, it is designed to do it. It's just not, you know, it kind of, for me, it really excels in the penciling part. Maybe not quite as much in the you know, the coloring or inking side, which isn't to say it can't do those things. I've just not really. I don't use it for that. I use it to do pencils and then kind of move on to, you know, Photoshop or Illustrator or Manga Studio to kind of finish. So it's kind of a part of the process. It's not, you know, it's not what I use for everything. So.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I can say even just to kind of back up what Ben's saying, like, okay, so you can do full-blown illustrations in Sketchbook Pro. It is a great program. It's got tons and tons of capabilities. I mainly use Sketchbook Pro for doing illustrations on the go, like I mentioned before. I use the mobile version, but the pencil engine for sure is one of the best I've ever used. It's the most realistic feeling compared to most of them, and the other tools. I mean, people do use it for cartooning. People do use it for a lot of illustration stuff. And the nice thing is, the software is actually a lot less expensive now than it used to be. Sketchbook Pro used to be really pricey. And Autodesk went through kind of a rework of their pricing schemes for a lot of their software. Most of the Autodesk software, if you're a student, you can actually get for free now if you can prove you're a student.
Oh, nice.
But the full retail version of, at least the last version of Sketchbook Pro, Pro 6, is only like $30 or $40 on Amazon right now.
Yeah, and version 7 I think just came out, and it's like $60. I think it's not bad.
Yeah, which really is not bad.
Oh yeah. I mean, 7 is. I saw a demo by I want to say his name's Chris Millen. Does that sound right? Yeah, he did a demo of 7. You can find it on YouTube. He's actually one of the guys that does a lot of the artwork for Archer, the show.
Okay.
And yeah, his demo was pretty fantastic. It was awesome. I mean, there's some neat new tricks and tools that you can do in 7 that you can't do with 6. Enough to, I was basically sitting there with my mouth watering. So.
Yeah, no, 7's looking great. I'm gonna need to pick it up at some point.
Yeah. Oh, same here. I mean, it's yeah. It looks like well worth the price of admission.
Okay. So Jen's working on some sketches. What you working on, Jenn?
Oh, I'm just messing around. I'm just trying to get used to this because I never use this program.
Yeah, you've had it for a long time, but you don't use it a whole lot, right, Jenn?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So as you were saying, Ben.
Actually, I'm trying to find Jenn stuff because I don't have my Hangout stuff up. Anyway, yeah, I gotta look at that in a minute. But one of the things I did want to show you guys, and this one's really cool, and this is a huge shortcut, and I got a buddy of mine that uses this a lot. It's really cool. So they have this thing, a symmetry tool, so you can turn this on. When you do, you get this little dotted line that goes up the center or horizontal, depending on how you set it up, where you can actually do some really cool stuff where you I'm back up here, but anyway, what I wanted to show you is the symmetry tool is really kind of neat because when you turn it on, anything you do on the left happens on the right. So if you wanted to lay out a face or something like that, yeah, it's super super quick to do that.
And symmetry tools. I know Manga Studio has one, but it's not as easy to use as the Sketchbook Pro one.
Oh yeah, this is like stupid easy.
That's awesome for fast character illustration.
Yeah, or it just gives you a shortcut tool to kind of really be able to do some really neat stuff very quickly. So
Very cool.
So yeah, that's kind of neat and handy. And yeah, I mean, the other thing too is layers. It allows you to kind of, draw. A lot of times I'll sketch something out and do, one part of it on. I don't know what I'm drawing. I'm just.
Looks like a spaceship.
Maybe. You can do like one part on a layer, and what I'll do a lot is I'll do like a real rough version of that, and you can actually change the opacity. So I'll do kind of like a real rough pencils, and then I'll come back with a darker one, and then really kind of start. It's kind of like a pre-inking for me. I use the first layer just to kind of do the roughs, and then I kind of go in and start, really tightening up, my pencils. And getting them ready for inking, finishing the lines and kind of putting a lot more detail in, on top of that real rough, place that I started from. So.
Yeah. So speaking of layers, what kind of files does Sketchbook Pro support?
I think it'll actually export PSDs, but it generally, TIFF is its kind of bread and butter. TIFF files are what actually keep the layers intact within Sketchbook Pro. What I'll do a lot is I'll just save it as a TIFF. Take it into Photoshop. It'll come into Photoshop flat. It doesn't retain the layers generally, but I think it's been a while since I've done it. Yeah, I don't think it keeps the layers when you go out to Photoshop. I might have to double check that, but generally speaking, I treat it, if I want the layers intact, I'll do that in Sketchbook Pro. Once I'm kind of finished with it, with the pencil stage, then I'll export that part into, or basically just save the TIFF or save it as a PNG or something like that and take it out to Photoshop and then kind of work on it from there. But generally TIFF is its kind of, like I said, its native format is a TIFF file.
Yeah. Professor Calculus asks, how difficult is Sketchbook Pro to use as compared to programs such as GIMP and Photoshop? I'm assuming for doing illustration.
Again, it's kind of a specialized tool. Because it's not the end all be all. For me, it's not the end all be all. It is really excellent. In fact, literally, there's no other software package that does pencils as well as Sketchbook Pro. So it's probably the most intuitive. It's the easiest to just kind of jump in and sort of figure out. I mean, there's, like I said, it's pretty simple. All the tools are right in front of you. There's not a lot of hidden menus like. Photoshop. I mean, there's just so many, windows upon windows of hidden, toolbars and everything. So, this one's, almost kind of what you see is what you get. What's on here is the tools you have access to. There's a lot of good stuff. Like I said, there's a whole Copic library, so you can do, kind of like, similar to, working with a Copic marker. They have paint tools which don't. I mean, they work. They're just, I don't use them a whole lot. They have some really nice, brush tools that do different things, but I don't use those. I got a couple, nice calligraphy type brushes.
Yeah, I know that at least as far as the use that I've done with programs like Sketchbook Pro, it is, for what it does, it is a superb program.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's awesome for sketching. Yeah, I don't think that I've found a program that has a better pencil engine than Sketchbook Pro. I would say a close second would probably be Manga Studio, just because they've been trying real hard to improve it. It's not quite as good as Sketchbook Pro, but it is it's good enough that you can get stuff done in it. After that, I would say, if you've got an unlimited budget, probably Corel Painter almost has as good a pencil engine as Sketchbook Pro, but Corel Painter also costs like 10 times as much as Sketchbook Pro does. And to have a pencil engine that almost works as good as Sketchbook Pro. But hands down, it does beat out GIMP or Photoshop for penciling.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it Frendon, I think? The Frendon brushes for Photoshop, they're pretty good, but nowhere near as good as what Sketchbook Pro does natively. So, it's really easy. It's really intuitive. I mean, that's one of the things I really liked about it from day one, was it just kind of, it felt right. It didn't feel like anything was not where it was supposed to be, or hidden from me, or I didn't feel like I needed to be an expert to be able to use it. It was all kind of like right up front where I wanted it to be, where it seemed like it should be, and I really like that, and I was able to kind of jump in, and like I said, I mean, just the ability to kind of do pencils and then have layers on top that you can kind of, refine my pencils. I think that worked really well for me, and I've been kind of using it since. So.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I just discovered the paint tool on it is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's not quite as robust as Corel, but at least it's not as overwhelming either as Corel, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to call it simplistic. I mean, I always kind of get weird. I don't want it to sound like it's dumbed down. It's not. It's
stripped down, compared to Corel.
Sure.
It's a very, I guess the best term we could probably use is that it's been streamlined. They've pulled out a lot of the stuff that you wouldn't use or probably wouldn't need to use in a basic getting started studio design setup, and it gives you kind of the tools that you need to kind of get your idea down on paper. And Sketchbook Pro is really designed to kind of be part of the process. I mean, they work really hard to integrate with other software. So that way, you get started, you do all your penciling or some of your basic painting in Sketchbook Pro, and then you take it and you transition into whatever other software you're going to be using for doing your illustration.
Yeah, exactly. I think it does really good at what it does really good, and then beyond that, it's some things work pretty well once you get used to them. I mean, that demo I saw was he did a full piece in it, and I was like, ooh, I didn't even know you could do that. So the tools are there, and it's very robust, but it's also very simple, and so there's not too much, but there's more than enough to play with, I guess.
Yeah, and would you recommend if people were to be using Sketchbook Pro that they should try it out with a tablet, or do you think that people could get by using a mouse on the software?
I mean, generally I would say no, a mouse wouldn't do it, but then David Peterson from MouseGuard, he still does everything with a mouse. So, I mean, that guy does amazing work. I just was like looking at himself like, seriously, use a mouse? So yeah, I mean, you could use a mouse, but you're going to lose that pressure sensitivity.
Mm-hmm. And that contributes to the brush dynamics, like the realism of the pencil and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of where it shines, is being able to have these kind of real, what feel correct like pencil strokes. And to not have that, I could see where that would be kind of a limiting factor. But I mean, I can't say it couldn't be done. I mean, sure, somebody could do something. But yeah, generally speaking, I would think having a tablet would probably be the better way to go.
Yeah.
Not absolutely critical, but probably better.
All right, well, so our 30 minutes are just about up at this point, at least for the podcast portion. So thanks to everybody who came to watch the podcast portion. We will be so this actual stream will be ending, and then we will be starting up the random character challenge in about, I would say, around 15 minutes. So at 9:30 Mountain Standard Time, we'll be starting the random character challenge. So I will be posting, at least on my Twitter, the link to that, or you can stay tuned on our YouTube page, and that stream will go up as soon as we start doing the challenge. And like I said, and so thanks to everybody for participating. Thanks for the great questions. You guys asked some great questions today. Yeah. And a lot of this is the interaction. You guys ask questions. We are here to answer the questions. We've been working in the digital art field for I would say pretty much all of us have been working in the digital art field for a decent amount of time at this point. So, we've tried out a bunch of stuff. We've hit stumbling blocks in our pasts and figured out how to get around them. Yeah. And so, feel free to ask any kind of questions. Once again, hashtag Pen Stylus. And you can also ask questions for those of you who are watching this, if it's archived, off the air. Feel free to tweet us a question or leave comments on our YouTube videos, and we will do our best to answer your questions.
Absolutely. Oh, we have a Facebook page.
Yeah, and we've got a Facebook page now. We're working on getting it all put together.
Yeah.
So anyways, thanks for joining us for this, and we will be back in a little bit with the random character challenge. It's more casual. We just kind of sit and chat and draw. And so I've been Nathan Rackley, and then we've had Ben. So thanks, Ben, for sharing.
Yep, no problem. And I don't know, you should see what Jen's doing, because dang.
Yeah, Jen's she's tearing it up.
I'm just screwing around, guys.
Oh, looks good. I like it.
Cool.
Yeah, so this has been Nathan Rackley, Ben Girven, Jenn Myers. Yeah, I'm getting it mixed up. And we'll be back in about 15 minutes with the random character challenge. So thanks to everybody for coming and watching the podcast.
See you guys.
Cool.